Right. So Claire's gone. Second episode with Tayshia. First one was a little boring, but this one's going to be great. I can get through the whole recap super smooth. Tonight, the intellectual value of the show will skyrocket without Claire. Time to get to the things that really matter. Things like chivalry, being there for the right reasons, and many other it's my friend Claire. Hey, Claire. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I just watched the show. Is Dale there too? Awesome. Hey, Dale. And C Money? Why don't you guys all be on speaker? Hey, C Money, what's going on? Awesome. So wait, Claire, you wrote the challenges for this show. It just never got to air with you on it? Oh, that makes so much sense. Hey, are the four of us still on this weekend for our Zoom murder mystery? I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, great. Bye, Dale. Bye, C Money. Bye, Claire. Aha! Makes total sense. Now it's time for the grown-ass man competition. So, Ashley, I, and Jared of Bachelor Universe fame, an actual married couple from the Bachelor Universe, are here to help administrate and find out who is the most grown-ass man. It's certainly a very important question. And it starts out with some simple math questions, such as 2 trains leave the station, blah, blah. No, it's actually not that difficult. It's more like, if it takes 90 minutes to drive to Albuquerque and you left at 7:55 a.m., what time would you get to Albuquerque? Well, Bennett is unable to answer this question. Everybody kind of laughs at him. We then move on to a really important grown-ass man skill of competing in a tug of war. Bennett is unable to participate in this. Then we move to a really important competition as far as being a grown-ass man, and that is, how do you serve breakfast in bed? So we see many different variations, including serving yourself as a breakfast in bed, or serving breakfast in bed with beignets as Bennett wearing a bathrobe. Everyone agrees, well, at least the judges agree, that Bennett is the most grown-ass man, and he receives a special diploma for winning the competition. At the after party, Ed and Chasen begin a feud. What causes it, you ask? Well, something very grown-ass man subject. It is that Chasen has been using the same adjectives to describe Tayshia that he used to describe Claire. This is obviously indicative that he's there for the wrong reasons. Ed tells Tayshia that he's there for the wrong reasons. He's only there for the Insta followers. This causes a dun-dun-dun-dun-dun Detective Tayshia moment where she interviews Chasen to find out, is he only there for the followers? Does he use the same adjectives? And after this careful investigation, both players remain in the game. Meanwhile, Ivan blindfolds Tayshia and feeds her a strawberry, which causes him to win the group date rose and proves that he must also be a grown-ass man. It's time for our very first actual Tayshia Rose ceremony, and of course the all-important pre-rose ceremony cocktail party, where the feud between Ed and Chasen rages on. Chasen is told that he must apologize to Ed, and he does so. Also, another important piece of this is that because Chasen was accused of using the wrong adjective to describe Tayshia, because it matched adjectives used to describe Claire previously, he must invent a new adjective, and he chooses the adjective smoke show. So that proves he must be there for the right reasons after all, and perhaps he's a grown-ass man. We do see a reappearance by Zach in his high tops. Turns out he's been reading the book The Secret in order to manifest a beautiful relationship between himself and Tayshia. And ding, 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 the rose ceremony begins. And what will happen with Ed and Chasen? They sort of engage in some juvenile arguments. Will they be kept around? After all, they might not be grown-ass men. Well, surprise, surprise. Perhaps the producers decided that they should survive. Tayshia does give them both a rose. And now that we've made an important determination about who is the most grown-ass man, and we've had our first rose ceremony, it's time for another group date. This time it's a super dangerous steel cage match UFC wrestling date where everyone gets oiled up. So everyone gets oiled up. Tayshia paints oil on various guys, and it's time to fight each other. It looks super scary. The guys are pounding on the side of the steel cage, and it looks like Ed is going to fight Chasen, which would be the ultimate showdown between two grown-ass men. However, Ed walks over to Chris Harrison and lets him know that he's got some old dislocated shoulders and he actually can't fight. So then Noah, remember Noah has a mustache, which is an important part of his character, and he also joined late, jumps into the steel cage. Wait, he's not even on the date. He's just in the audience. So everybody's super pissed that Noah participates. He then fights Chasen in his jeans and mustache and loses. Chasen takes home the belt, but Noah makes an important leap into Bachelorette history. And finally, the end of this episode, which has advanced heterosexual dating roles immensely, is the after party after the WWE Smackdown date, where everyone is still pissed at Noah because he joined the Smackdown without being officially invited on the date. Noah makes out with Tayshia, but she tells him he should shave his mustache. So apparently this is another moment where you can prove how you're a man. Perhaps a man doesn't have a mustache, so he promptly goes and brings some type of tool to shave off his mustache. They shave it off, and she makes out with him again. For all of this, he receives the group date rose. So, let's review. If you can't do math, such as finding out how long it takes to get to Albuquerque, you might not be a grown-ass man. If you can't perform a tug of war, you may not be a grown-ass man. If you can't serve breakfast in bed properly, you may not be a grown-ass man. If you can't do a WWE steel cage match wrestling Smackdown, you might not be a grown-ass man. And finally, and most importantly, if you have a mustache, you might not be a grown-ass man. So just to inject a little bit of reality into this discussion, in actuality, anyone who identifies as a man is a man, and whether or not you serve breakfast in bed or have a mustache or are good at math or are good at many stereotypically male things, which why is the Bachelorette telling us about all these stereotypes? We're not entirely sure. You actually are a man. So the concept of invalidating somebody's identity as entertainment, calling someone a man-child, etc., is sort of an unusual thing for this show to be doing in 2020. And it is difficult to imagine an episode of The Bachelor where various people were declared not a woman. In any case, that's Bachelorette episode 6, Tayshia's episode 2, and we'll see you next time for more recap magic. I'll be your Mr. Right Girl.